Jane. Hello. I am doing this video because I've been playing around with a journal that I'm creating, and I thought if I record it, I'll also hit the record button, this could be really fun because, well, it just could be. So it's February 2024. This February is the creative month, and look, I managed to sort my little hello camera out. I can't believe it. I can't. All the technology went absolutely pear-shaped, so I just reset everything, switched the cords around, and it all worked, and this started working again. So I pressed a few other things, but anyway, here we are. So yes, February prompts. So these are on my blog. They're on the Facebook group, blah blah blah. Right. So as part of February, I've been working in, which is just drawing faces every day of February, right? I've got this beautiful vintage music sheet book, movie music. Started playing in this. This is INKredible Ink, and I've been using the not mindful markers, the Meet Your Markers, and the paper's actually quite nice. I love using vintage paper, but I can also prep that paper, and that does two things. If I use like a joyful gesso, like this sort of stuff, or my watercolour gesso, or any of these acrylics, these really super matte acrylics, I can push the music paper back, the print back a little bit, so that this is great because it's a certain smile. It's February, and she's got a little certain smile on herself, right? And it sort of fits in, but some of the others aren't going to. But I do just want this bit of music note paper happening in the background, and it just would be nice. Hey Kimble, how you going? Hey Diane, hey Michelle. Completely surprised there's anyone here to watch. That's lovely, thank you. So I've prepped the pages with differing amounts of joyful gesso, and I'm using these colours because they're sort of vintage paper colour. I haven't done anything on the front cover yet. I might just leave that, but I could add some of this collage medium, and that'll help strengthen it, and if I do want to create on it, it just gives me a different kind of cover. But I'll probably put this in one of my journal jackets, so I don't need to protect it. It should be okay. So I've added my joyful gesso on here, I've added it here, and as I've been adding it and making everything a bit wet and whatnot, this is the watercolour gesso. I've prepped the pages. That's got that nicer white colour to it. This one I used a little bit more of the High Kicks Caramel and the Skipper Beat Sienna. So I've got a few different colours happening. And the paper fell apart. Like, the book is wet. So I thought, well, I'll restitch it. Should I add some other paper? And then I thought, I've actually got quite a collection of other sheet papers. This I picked up the other day as well because Doris Day. And whatever will be, it's just such a good motto for life, really. And I've had this one for ages. Fever. It's a song that I used to sing at school, like for school art days. Not very appropriate, I guess, but I thought it was funny. Absolutely adore Peggy Lee. And look at this, John Davenport. Thought the song was amazing. You give me fever. Anyway, so I've got a few of those. I've got quite a collection of, like I said, old music, but nothing will fit. They're not all this size. I could cut them down, but I don't really want to. But I think this will be fun for this February. And I don't think I'll add any more to it. So I'm going to do it like this. So I first thought I might bind this, and you can do it with me. And then hopefully you might find some this was a box of music sheets. Honestly, they wouldn't have been looked at for 40 years. So it's just nice to give them a new home, give them a new lease of life. And there we go. So the colour, what I've got here is my bookbinding kit. So what I'm fossicking in here for are the needles. So this is something we have on our website, but you can put your own kit together. And I've got my bookbinding string. I was thinking the yellow because of the fever, and this had this yellow thing, but you can't see it there anyway, so that doesn't make any difference. But what happens if I do the blue or the red? I don't have the red, but the blue I have, so I'm going to use that. And the awl is fossicking down here. So this little baglet comes with a little bookbinding kit, which has got a paper folder in it. I don't need to use that at the moment. And I've also popped in here, I've got some other elastic cord if I'm doing a different kind of binding. I've got some other needles which I probably will never use, but at least I know where to find them. And I've got my waxed thread. In a real pinch you can use waxed dental floss. It's not as good, and you probably would have to replace it eventually, but in a pinch you could do that. So I'm just going to snip that off, and with the little thread heads, these are called, with the thread wrapped around here, it's got a little slit there and you can just pop that back in there. But there's lots of different colours and different creatures. Hey Kerry, how you going? And okay, look, and seriously, I just had a total conniption not so many minutes ago, and I'm functional again because I'm excited to do this. A conniption because of the technical things, but I worked it out. Ha ha! Can't keep me down. So, so what I just did then, if you've not seen me do that before, this is you just flatten, because it's waxed, it holds that shape, and it's very easy to thread. So you can double that if you want to, doesn't really matter, but I've got that, I've got it ready and waiting. Is that going to be a good match? Well, it's not quite the right blue, but I think it'll be fine. Just want to make sure that this is in the right order, and I've got it as stacked as I can, and I'm going to come through here. I'm just going to estimate the middle. If you are a bit more of a pedantic person, good for you. You can measure it out and make sure it's completely perfect. But I don't care that much about that. The only perfection part is it's got to come out right in the middle there. So I'm just coming up a little bit from the bottom, and I'm going in a little bit here at the top, and I fold it back over and squeeze it to make sure I come out there and there. And then I'm going to estimate the middle. But sometimes what I do, it's not going to be so critical here because this isn't many pages, this isn't very challenging. But if I had lots of different pages and things, this is why I have my needle threaded, so that I can just pop it like that and it's ready to use, and it holds everything together. So I'm just going to put in another hole halfway between there and there. And if you don't remember any of this, you're worried you won't, in the little needle kit, it's got a little map. It's called a 5-hole pamphlet stitch, and this is all I've ever used. There's all sorts of other beautiful ways of binding books, but this is all I need, really. It's great because if I want to pull it apart and rebind things, or put this little signature into something else and have lots of signatures within one cover, I can do that. That's super easy. So I'm going to pull this through the middle, and of course leave the tail out. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to do a figure 8. I always usually come down to the bottom one, but it doesn't matter. Also might need to just drag it a little bit more. And I'm going to come back in here. The only thing you have to watch out for is splitting that. Sometimes you can come through that thread. It's not the end of the world. I would reverse and fix that up, just because it's harder to tighten everything up at the end. Now I'm going to skip the middle, which has got that little tail hanging out, because that's where I'm going to end up. So I'm going to skip the middle and come up. Am I? Have I just gone crazy? No, I haven't. Sometimes I feel like I'm losing my mind. Quite often, actually. And I'm sort of just chugging things, making sure they're tight as we go. So when you are in a vintage store, just have a look. It's one of the few things that hasn't gone mad expensive. Like all the old ledgers that I used to find, all the old children's book pop-up books, old Victoriana scrapbooks, which were used to be regarded as rubbish, they have gone creeping up in price, and they feel a bit precious to use, but usually they're falling apart. Now that tail is on that side, so it's easy to move it after the fact anyway, but if I'm going, I may as well have a little tail on each side. I'm just going to tighten that up. Ooh, now the paper is fragile, so if I pull on it too hard, I could, I think that even came down a little bit. It's no big deal, but you know, just you don't need to power lift this. It's just a book, and we're just tied just a little double knot, and I've done the knot from the outside so that I don't end up with a knot on the inside. So that's oh, it's my vet letting me know about Zorro. Zorro's had the best weekend. I can't even tell you what a wonderful, fabulous time he's had. If you miss an appointment, well, I won't be missing it, don't you worry. Okay. So, now I've got my nice little, this happy feeling, and it's a certain smile. This little piggy. Now I could just leave that as is. And do you know what? Why don't we stain this yellow? Now I could stain it with ink, and I could stain it even with, I've got a permanent tattoo ink. I could use this as a stain, but this paper is not really going to like being wet. But we'll do it and as a little experiment, and because I feel like it. So I'm going to pop that there and pop that there. Because I'm using the tattoo ink, nothing's going to be permanent on your desk or anything, but you know, just doing a bit of colour hygiene. And let's get my little, this is Plunder, and I've put it into one of the Muse Mister bottles, which is a little bit Peggy Lee, a bit Marilyn Monroe shaped, a bit of a Doris Day little number. And what would happen? This will be, won't be able to really see it that well. Or should I do an acrylic? I'll do this first, let it sit for a second. Look, I'm experimenting. I don't really, it doesn't matter. I don't get too, or do I want all of this extra pattern on here? Let's just do it and see whatever will be, hey. Let's just take the words to heart and do what we feel, because the world's crazy and spraying yellow is seems like a good idea. Oh yeah, that smells nice. It's not scented, just it does, things have a scent, don't they? I'm going to give it a bit of neon. The neon pink and the yellow are going to mix. I'm going to get some sort of orange, but if I go up there I'll just get pink. So whatever will be will be. over this way a little bit too. Why not? I don't know if I'm going to get much of an impression here, but I don't care. Right. I just want to have fun. Girls just want to have fun. Okay, and this is actual orange. So this is tattoo ink again. This is Gangplank. So this will be waterproof, so I can add watercolour, whatever. I don't have to worry about things lifting. Oh, I like that little touch of neon orange, but it covered up my neon pink, so I'm going to add a little bit more of that and just let that dry. It's going to absorb into that paper a little bit. If but I can see that the paper is absorbent, doesn't like it that much. And seeing as we talk about ink hygiene, because this is waterproof, I don't need to wash it right away, because if I go to use it again, it's not going to go all over everything. It should be okay. And yeah, I've got a little bit of pink there. I don't know if that's exactly what I will want to end up with. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to do this now. I'm in a creative mood. So I'm just putting a little bit of Laughing Lemon. I've got a new colour here called Warm and Fuzzy, and I think that's what that yellow is going to be between the two. So this is a warmer yellow. This is a cooler yellow. I know it sounds funny to say it's a cool yellow. They're, you know, it's like warm reds and cool reds, but they are a thing. But I'm also going to use a bit of my collage medium. Oh, look at me being neat. Hello, Diane. How you going? Oh, you just need the one book to complete your collection, The Magical Mermaids. So close. Well, I'm glad that you're enjoying them and they're helpful for you. Now, the reason I've got the collage medium, this is acrylic paint with no colour in it, basically. And it's matte like these. It's not as matte as the Joyful Genesis, but it's pretty matte. And I'm going to take the two colours and mix. We're all in and get those two. And in fact, I'm not going to mix it and mix it well. I'm going to have the two colours like that. And oh, the poor paper is not going to like this very much. Oh, so cute. Will I be pretty? Will I be... But if I mix it with this, it just will... thin out the paint, so it will make it more sheer. Some of this ink, especially if I grab it from over here, is not dry yet, so I'm just going to bring that over as well. Add in some more of the clear collage medium, so I can still see the words, but I will have this little bright background, and it'll give me my Doris Day feelings. I'm going to come over this paper up here and here. It'll just give it a little acrylic coat, a little jacket. And just come over this. So it's still sheer, I can still read the words, but it is just going to push things back, and I'm going to have this bright background right in the middle. I'm still going to be able to see some of this pattern in the background that I've made. And to be honest, there are some things that if it gets covered up, it doesn't worry me at all. It's the joy of doing it sometimes is more important than the result that it gives. But that's just the way I personally feel about art. It's the process. The end result's very important too, but the process to me is the reason I do it. That's what calls to me. It's not the thrill of the end result, it's the joy of the process. I know that's not the same for everyone, but it is for me. So I might do it, yes. But I will wash, or do I want a little bit of a yellow stain? I'll have a little bit of a yellow stain. There you go, Peggy Lee. This will just give it a little bit more of an aged look. And so whoever owned this at one point, that's their name on there. I'm just going to go over that. But it also, I've now got an acrylic surface, not the paper. So it's just going to protect the paper a little. And if I did want to create over the top, I'm creating on this surface rather than the old paper. And I've got a new little journal, which, you know, oh, I've got all this leftover paint in my brush. So while that's drying, I'm going to move things. Oh, I've been drawing mermaids. Something else. Just move those. Hang on a minute. Where's my journal? I'm just going to move that over there. This is some leftover paint that I had from something else. I think this is, the leftover paint, a colour that I mixed up to put in one of the pens. And this is Fresh Air, I think. It was the leftover INKredible ink that I had. I just reconstituted it a little. And before this dries, which is acrylic and it will, just may as well use it up, right? And it'll eventually be a lovely little start for something else. So in here somewhere I had a bunch of leftover beiges, so I just mixed them all up, put them all in there. Just add some water, get everything off my brush. And just because I feel like it, I'm going to pop a little bit of ooh la la. Oh, I've got a whole bunch of new laces coming. I haven't got them yet. I just love yellow and neon pink. It just makes the most beautiful orange of all time. I love the little sprayy sprays. Oh, so I can't wait to create on that. It'll be fantastic. And I've got a little bit of paint here, there and everywhere, but nothing I can't move. Right. Questions for me, my friends. Kimball says, I suddenly have the urge to find every scrap paper I can find and make a random sketchbook. Yes, do it. Just find and if you've got different sizes too, just let that 5-pole pamphlet stitch allows for that. And if anything becomes floppy or doesn't want to stay in there, you've always got washi tape to get it all to stick together. But it's fun to have just a little random journal. Just sometimes they happen, a little random journal. So that one's become a little random journalette. Oh, look, I didn't put all my bits and pieces. I cannot recommend enough having one little pouch or box or something with all of your bookbinding stuff in it. It's because it's something that you might not really use every day. But to have these all separated out, these are things that go together. I know exactly where they are. I'm just going to pop them right there. But I was just, this is like a little random booklet. And so this one was, I think we'll have, the video is here on YouTube somewhere. This is little bits of some of my papers from one of the original paper sets. And this is called a Japanese fold. You usually get a piece of paper, you fold it and cut up a section here, a slit, and turn it into a book with no binding. And But this was little separate pieces of paper that I bound together with washi tape and turned into a little book. But again, just a little random creature. I've got them everywhere, as well as more formal creatures. So that's not dry enough for me to bring back. This isn't dry enough for me to turn either. This is why we need 10 journals all on the go at once. Is that dry enough? I'm going to give that a quick little hit because I want to draw in that. I don't want to draw in the other one. Okay. So I'll give that a little hit. If you've got a little question for me. Cindy says, I'm always learning stuff in the wee hours. You just never know what's going to happen, do you? Oh, Debbie, you're such a sweetie. Okay. Oh, yes, Kimball's unbelievably talented. I think he gets more and more talented. So Kimball is Kimball's Corner, and he has a fantastic YouTube channel, and you can see his artwork in my Facebook group, and he's just a very talented young man. Indeed. And does the most beautiful things, not just with my art supplies, but I'm always very thrilled to see them in his hands. Okay, so I'm sorry, but that is going to be glorious. I don't know what that will turn into. Isn't it funny how that was yellow? Like when I put that down, didn't that look yellow, yellow, yellow to you? The neon pink, it's making it look lime-ish. It's all like energetic on the page. Colour. So good. Okay, that, I better move my mermaids because I really don't, I've got to scan them. Right, pop that there. Is this dry enough to, not really, it's a bit cool. So I'll just, I need a bigger sheet. Yeah, my fever. Okay, so I've got a little bit of ink has come through onto here. So what once this is dry, I probably might paint a little bit over this as well, because I think this would be really quite nice. These words would be really quite nice to have in the background of some artwork. Like I could have a figure here, and whatever will be sort of appearing out from behind her like a billboard. That could be quite interesting, couldn't it? So that could be fun. I might. But the worst thing I could do is have this vintage paper, a little bit fragile, wet, damp on this side, and then paint on this side. What will happen is the acrylic on either side will dry. The top surface will dry first. And because you've got two damp surfaces that I have to cure, it'll be surface dry, and the paper, you can get like little soft patches. Believe me, I've had it happen. And it's like little fontanelles, you know, like the little baby has the little soft little top, and you get a little fontanelle's a little fragile area you can't touch, and you can guarantee that any fragile area on a piece of paper, right where an eye is, or right where you want to put lots of detail, and just you'll be forever having to avoid it if anyone looks through it. But I don't touch the fontanelle. Is that what it's called? Am I calling it the right thing? Anyway, so there you go. Oh no, V, you're in hospital. I hope everything's okay. So I just need to let that completely dry and let that happen later. This, I'll paint over that too. But I could do that now, but I won't. And this, yeah, I might leave this, or I might paint over it. I don't know. But again, I'm not. I can paint like even this sort of thing where it's just ghostly coming through. I can still read every word, it's just knocking it back a little bit so that I've just got a little bit more room to create. Now this is cracking and not happy Jan. So I'll just keep creating. It could be fine. But if I did feel that I needed to give this any first aid at all, washi tape. But just we make sure everything's dry and a little bit of washi to coordinate. A bit of washi tape. Washi tape's removable. It's never permanent, but it's permanent enough in here. I think it will last my lifetime. And if it started to become unglued from something, I guess you could just glue it back down. But I haven't had that problem before. Never say never. I mean, technically, I should be able to have. I'm just looking at which little washi tape. Or do I want to put something a bit more? And if I had any fragility here, which in older books, this, because that's where people are turning them from, and you know, pick down the sides here and down here, this is where they tend to get little tears and cracks and fragileness, and people have been touching with their hands, and who knows where they've been, you know. This is where it gets dog-eared. This can get a bit fragile. A little bit of washi tape can be very nice. The other thing, there is my journal tape. I've also got some lovely tissue journal tape. Can't find it at the moment. That's a little bit more inconspicuous. So that's a good one too, but I don't know where it is. Normal old sticky tape, no, that will definitely go. It's just not permanent. It's not going to last forever. And shiny, ew. Okay. Well, I haven't finished her, I guess. And I've got something happening. I've got the pagan love songs. I could do another person looking across. Oh, I've got a little bit of an eye happening there and a nose. Oh. What should we? I've got my pencils here. Grey? Why not? I think, is this going to be a man? What? Oh, this is very strange. Don't draw men very often. Sometimes it happens, you know. It's quite turned. I could sort of see a nose there, a bit of an eye there where that, is that called a quaver? What's that called? That, where it connects. Semi-quave? I don't even know what that is. I can't read music. I just remember a little bit of it from school. Emphasis on the little, all right? I do wish I did learn music, because if I'd learnt it, I probably would have been very proficient at it, very good at it. That is referenced to Pride and Prejudice, okay, so. I think this has got, he's mustachioed. Do you know, I play a game called Assassin's Creed, right? And I haven't played anything for ages, and there's one of them that's based in ancient Greece. I've been playing it. It goes on and on and on and on for months and months and months. We're in Elysian rather, like as part of the underworld with Persephone, all of these things happening, and I just needed a break from it. But there's one I've never played, and it's set in oldie Victorian London, and I haven't seen anyone. Oh no, there was a character in it last night that did have a bit of a handlebar moustache, so I think I'm channeling Walrus Mushmouth. Walrus. So really should have a look. Do they have little beards underneath the walrus? I suppose there's no rules. And if he's going to have a walrus mustachio, I don't think he's fancy. I don't think it's curly like that. Or is it? Why not? If I was going to grow one, I'd curl it. Curl the mo. What it has to do with Pagan Love Song, I don't know. But... and the girl character in it does have a little pixie cut. The little girl assassin, or lady, I'm kind of loving her. This is his little bowler hat or whatever. Oh, maybe he's got a top hat, something, some sort of hat. What hair do people... oh, they have chops, don't they? There's his ears back there somewhere. Oh, maybe he does have a little beard. Anyway, someone asked, do I always draw men? Sorry, lady. No. There you go. I drew, for what it's worth, I drew a little bit of a man. What that has to do with face fairy, I'm not too sure. Let's just see. It's all like taro. Lips are sealed, has nothing to do with that. Fluttering lashes, nose in the air, putting out, none of these. It's a face though, so tick, tick. What it has to do with these two here, I don't know. It doesn't have to have anything to do with anything. This can also be in the background as I'm on my way to something else as well. Maybe I just have to play that game a little bit more just to find out. Do they connect up? Do you have those mutton lamb chop things? Sideburny things. Are they sit in front of the ear, right? And then he's got his man chin, jawline. This colour, this is deep shadow. It suits this man. I wonder if that's why I picked it. If it turned into a man because I picked this colour. I don't know. Mysteries of the World.com. But he's been running, so he's got a bit of pink cheeks there. Oh, and he's had a drink or two. His face is going a bit red. Ooh, these two colours together. Yum. Oh, this colour, this combination of colours on this. What did I use? I think this is Skipper Beat. No, it's not. It's Positive Peach. It's just these colours are so nice on this and the cream. I'm noticing what I notice. I try and do that. Like all these soft colours together, and because this is soft colours, it's all going to do something, and they all just sing together. I just have to be a little bit aware of adding like full solid black. Like if I started to add full solid black and fill this in with more detail, the pages wouldn't talk to each other even though they're quite different. Yum, 70s eyeshadow. So mainly using the skincare. Oh, creating, it's the working on top of the gesso. just makes me happy. And let's grab out, let's get some white. I could use my white pencil. Nothing wrong with white pencil. But I'm going to, oh sorry, this is going to be a little bit chalk, nails on the chalkboard, the sound, sorry. Ooh, sorry. But, it really is, sorry about that. I'm sorry but not sorry, not sorry. Oh, I like it. Where's the grey? That was the deep shadow. I'm going to add a little bit of like that, so he's sort of looking. His eyes aren't completely shut. He's looking back here, pretending he's not looking. So I think he's walking along here with his wife, who's the same age as he is, and he's sort of a distinguished gentleman, but he's sort of casting a glance back here at the youth of today and trying not to get caught. You do what you need to, mate. He's doing a harumph, but equally entranced. So this is the white from the skincare, and it just operates different. This is Fluffy White Clouds. This is going to, especially when I run them over the top of each other, going to blend quite nicely actually. And, oh, eyeball, might put a bit of that in there. That's a very light grey. But there's also the blender. This is the polishing. This is clear. This actually has no colour in it at all. Oh, I just have to be careful. Vintage paper. And if I've rub this over, especially if I've got a couple of colours, I can rub this over the top of things and get them to mix. So if I want to take out some of that pink from the face, for instance, I can just add a bit more colour and then add this. This won't change the colour, it'll just mix the two. So here, like I can use this to blend them together. But if I'm going to be doing blending, I actually prefer to blend with a white. It does change the colour though. Might not have quite enough colour pencil under there for this to. But I do just have to be a little bit careful of the surface. This isn't a robust paper, and I'm on the acrylic. So anyway. It's going to blend these ones nicely, rather than the way that the clouds works. This is going to have a softer look, and the Fluffy White Clouds is a pastel that sits up on top of the paper. It just looks, even though they're both a white pencil, they have a different look to each other. And this is one of my favourites, sort of like the equivalent of tattoo ink. This is Lush Shadow. Lush. Lush is a very nice word. I'm going to come over and eventually I'll get to the point where you just can't add any more pencil because it's got oils and waxes in it, and there's nothing for it to stick to. What you can do is put some collage medium over it, let it dry, and then you've got the chance for another layer to pop on there. But just be careful because you've got acrylic floating on a little layer of oil and wax. So it's not the most robust thing on the planet, but handy when needed. Very different styles, compositionally, absolutely no, but it's an art journal and it's fun. And if I didn't want Pagan Love Song to be sitting there in his mind, I didn't have to, but this could be what he's thinking, okay? It could be perfect. Okay. Pages are singing. Oh, gifted talent, aren't you nice, Cindy? Yes, so we've got the... Oh, I've just had a thing saying YouTube's not receiving enough video. Well, that was probably a good time for me to say to bid adieu. Thank you for joining me. I hope that you discovered something and that you're going to... Why don't you go and make a journal and join in Facery? Why not? And... Sorry, I'm not concentrating on you. I'm just having a little bit of fun here with my little man. Quite like him. Okay. Oh, I can do a little goodbye to you up here. Bye, my friends. See you.